Now we're going to put a texture on a surface for our poster against the wall. If we take a look at this, you'll see that the geometry is comprised of a number of faces. And I've done that so that I could go in with that soft select that we had already covered. And you can see that I've just gone and played with the edges of this to make it look more realistic. Perhaps a post that had been taped to the wall haphazardly and is now pulling away in certain areas. Now, before we get to editing the actual geometry, we need to address our texture in Photoshop. So in Photoshop, I've taken a picture of a poster and I've edited it the way I want, and I saved it as a JPEG. Now we're going to texturize the surface that will be our poster. Once again, I'm going to start out in Photoshop. I've downloaded this picture from the internet of a poster, and I've got it edited the way I'd like it to be. And I'm going to save it as a JPEG into the source image folder, poster.jpg. And now I'll return to Maya. Now in Maya, I've got a surface I want to serve as my poster. And I've increased the polygon faces. And then I use the soft select to work with some of the vertices to make it look more organic, as if perhaps it were starting to peel off the wall. So in order to create this geometry, I started out with a simple polygon plane. And in the channels window, I opened up under inputs the subdivision width, subdivision height, width, height proportions of this. And now I'm going to change that subdivision width and height to 10. I now have a little bit more geometry to edit this, to give it a much more organic feel. So I'm going to hit W on the keyboard, and then I'm going to go over to my Select and Move tool here. Double click to get the attributes up. I'm going to open up Soft Selection. And I've clicked off on Soft Selection, and I made the fall off 1.8, which is fine. And now I'll right click, choose Vertex, and because it's on, when I put my cursor over, it shows me the influence of this. Now, if I wanted to take this off, the keyboard quick is B. I'll hit B again to retrieve it. I'm going to grab a corner and just go around here and just pull this a bit, just to make it look a little bit more realistic. So, and that corner, maybe a little in the middle. Go back to my object mode, Command S to save. I'm going to right click on it now, and I'm going to choose Assign New Material. And again, maybe a bit of a shine because it is a poster, might have a glossy surface. And I'll go and I'll rename that. And I'll click on the checkerboard pattern next to color. Once again, in the Create Render node, I'll click on File, and I'll get my texture, and I will go to Poster and hit Open. Now, this is not what I want. So this is where we need to go in and adjust that planar mapping that we used on the floor and the door. I'm going to select the geometry, hold down my spacebar, go to UVs, and choose Planar Mapping, and go to the menu. Now if I take a look at my geometry, the vertice that is radiating perpendicular to the surface of that poster image is the Z-axis. So I want to make sure it says Z, and I'll simply hit Apply, and there's my texture. And as in the other two instances, the floor and the door, there's the virtual tool that allows me to adjust this and change this if need be. I'll right click, go back to my object mode, and save.